Hello, Girl Scout volunteers and families. Saturday, January 30th is the main cookie delivery day. This short overview video will cover the information you need to know ahead of the big day. In this video, we'll cover a few reminders, tips on coordinating drivers and vehicles, and information on safety to be aware of before delivery day. We'll also look at an overview of the pickup process and double count on delivery day, and then after pickup, troop cookie distribution, inventory management tips, and a quick look at how to allocate cookies and payments in eBuddy. What to focus on and what you need to know before delivery day. First, a reminder. If you haven't done so already, a Troop ACH authorization form must be submitted and processed prior to picking up cookies on delivery day. ACH forms need to be submitted annually. If your troop participated in the Fall Product Program and you turned in an ACH form then, that will suffice for this Girl Scout year. If you have not completed an ACH form for the 2020-2021 Girl Scout year, please do so now. Troops who do not have a current ACH form on file will not be able to pick up their cookies on delivery day. A few things to note about coordinating drivers for brand new troop cookie managers. You'll want to ask parents, caregivers, and other volunteers in the troop to help pick up cookies. Communicate the pickup time and location to them, and also remind them that they need to be on time, but not too early. Communicate safety guidelines and what to expect to your group of cookie pickup volunteers before delivery day. We're going to go over that information in just a few minutes. Cookies must also be picked up from delivery sites in one trip. Because of that, it's better to have plenty of drivers and vehicles than not enough. In just a few minutes, I'll show you a diagram that'll help you to decide how many cars you're going to need based on how many cookies you'll be picking up. Tell drivers to make sure that the inside of their vehicle has been cleared out and it's ready to store cookies on pickup day. Within your group of helpers, you're going to want to decide which driver will lead the caravan. Usually that's the TCM. All vehicles picking up for the same troop will go through the delivery site together. Create signs with the troop number to put in the front window of each of the vehicles in your caravan. This is super helpful to all the volunteers on the delivery site. And please remind drivers that no children or pets are allowed on delivery sites or in the vehicles during pickup. And there is an expectation that drivers will remain in the vehicles. However, this year there's an exception to that, and I'll speak to that in just a moment. The reason why we don't allow children or pets on delivery sites is because they're drive-through pickup stations and forklifts may be in operation throughout the day. On some delivery sites, you may see older Girl Scouts, cookie captains, at the check-in stations or check-out stations. But for their safety, we also ask them to keep their distance from the actual drive-through pickup lines. In years past, we have also required that all adults driving remain in their vehicles. But as I mentioned earlier, there's one exception to that this year. Due to the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, if drivers are uncomfortable sitting in the vehicle while delivery agents are loading cases of cookies into the vehicle, it's perfectly fine if they ask the volunteer walking with the card if they can step out and step away from the vehicle while it's being loaded. And the reason why we ask that all vehicle drivers empty the trunk or cargo area of their vehicle, besides to obviously make room for the cases of cookies, is that cookies cannot be loaded into vehicles with any hazardous materials. And sometimes there's a possibility of there being a few cans of paint or a fuel container or possibly antifreeze or motor oil being in the back of an SUV or truck. And that's why we make mention here to remind your drivers to clear any of those materials out of their vehicles. New COVID-19 safety guidelines. Please share all of this information along with the other safety rules with the troop volunteers and parents who will be helping you pick up cookies on delivery day. All cookie pickup and delivery site volunteers must complete a GSCO COVID-19 screening form. In the form, people are asked to answer a few questions and take their temperature. If their temperature is 101 or higher, and/or they are experiencing any flu-like symptoms, they should stay home. The screening form should actually be done within a few hours of going to the delivery site itself. So when you coordinate your pickup group, you may want to have one person who's just a backup in case there is someone who is sick that morning and is not able to come. Then you'll have somebody ready to go to fill in. Along with the screening form, all delivery site and cookie pickup volunteers must also complete the GSCO COVID-19 liability waiver, unless they have already done so, and that might be true for any troop volunteer, including yourself, or if you're in a service unit volunteer role or another role within Girl Scouts. then you do not need to complete the waiver again. Along with completing the forms, all volunteers picking up cookies and those who are working on the delivery sites must wear a mask. There will be extra disposable masks available on site, but please tell your cookie pickup volunteers to plan to bring their own. All delivery site staff and volunteers will also practice social distancing, standing at least 6 feet apart. Links to both the GSCO COVID-19 screening form and liability waiver will be included in the description box for this video. How many vehicles will you need to pick up your initial order at the delivery site? Well, of course, that depends on how many cases of cookies you ordered for your initial order. This graphic is a handy guide, and you can find it on page 24 in your TCM guide. Do keep in mind that all cookies that you've ordered for your initial order must be picked up at one time. For that reason, it doesn't hurt to overestimate the number of vehicles that you'll need, rather than showing up to the delivery site and not having enough vehicles to pick up all of your cases of cookies. Here's an example site map of one of our delivery site locations. This is an aerial view of Waterstone Community Church in Littleton, and the arrows show the flow of entering the site, checking in, splitting into 2 separate pickup lines, and then exiting the site location. Of course, each site around the state is unique, but for those of you who are going into your first delivery day, I thought it would be helpful to have a visual example before we start talking about the basics of what to expect through the cookie pickup process. One other thing that Troop Cookie managers will want to do before delivery day is to print your I/O confirmation code. Go into eBuddy, and under the Delivery tab, you'll want to click the View Confirmation button, and a page that looks like this will come up. On this page, you're going to see a pickup code. Go ahead and hit the Print button and bring that confirmation page with you. Alternatively, you can find the same information in the eBuddy app. Click on the cookie icon at the bottom of the page, then Delivery and Confirmation. You'll need to know the confirmation code when you arrive at the delivery site. On delivery day, when you arrive at your cookie pickup location, text the unique code on your confirmation sheet to the phone number listed next to the code. Texting the code to that phone number signals the delivery site manager that you have arrived on site, and it starts your electronic receipt for I/O pickup in eBuddy. The next few slides are an overview of what to expect. Once you're on site, delivery site volunteers will greet you as you arrive and verify that you have enough vehicles to transport all the cookies in your initial order. If you arrive before other drivers of vehicles in your group, the volunteer will direct you to a location where you can wait for the rest of your party. The same is true if you arrive too early for your pickup. Delivery site volunteers will have a delivery ticket and will confirm with you the number of cases of each variety in your initial order. Only the cookies on the ticket are to be picked up. You can reduce the number of cookies that you're picking up, but you cannot pick up more than what was included in your initial order. Additional cookies, however, can be picked up at the cookie cupboards when they open on Thursday, February 4th or after. A delivery site volunteer will also walk with your vehicle as the rest of your group follows through the pickup line. The volunteer will verify the counts as delivery agents count and load cases of cookies into your vehicles. Delivery agents will be wearing gloves and masks. Drivers must wear masks as well. Drivers must remain in vehicles unless, as I stated earlier, they would prefer to get out and stand away from their vehicle as delivery agents load the cases of cookies. Once the full initial order for the troop has been loaded into vehicles, the volunteer will check off the cookie varieties on the delivery ticket. TCMs can either ask for a copy of the ticket or take a photo of the ticket. There will also be an electronic receipt as well. When the order pickup is complete, the delivery site manager will release the I/O in the eBuddy app, and the troop will confirm their pickup by texting either 1 or 2. Troops can pull over and count cases of cookies on the delivery site if space allows, or as soon as they arrive at their post-pickup location. If your initial order inventory count is accurate, you will text 1 to this phone number. It's the same phone number that you texted your unique code to earlier when you arrived. If the order count is off or there's an issue, text 2. If the count is over or short, complete an overages, shortages, damage adjustment form. I'll include the link to that form in the description box to this video. If your initial order count is off or there's another issue, TCMs should contact their Service Unit Cookie Manager, SUCM, about an overage shortage of cookie inventory in their initial order and any damage cases as well. SUCMs will work with staff to make arrangements to correct an overage or for troops to pick up additional cookies from a cupboard to fulfill a shortage or replace damaged cases of cookies. Before I get into some guidelines about what to do after you've picked up your initial order cookies, I just want to take a moment here to revisit a few of the new steps in the process from the troop perspective and from the delivery site manager perspective. All right, step 1 we covered earlier, troops checking in. That's when you're going to text that 6-digit code printed out of eBuddy or pulled up on your eBuddy app. Once you text that code to the number here, you'll receive a little text message. The delivery site manager will also receive a notification showing that you've checked in. Once you go through the process of getting all of your order picked up and your cookies loaded into vehicles, the volunteer walking with your caravan will let the delivery site manager know that your entire initial order has been picked up and it's ready for release. Once it's been released, you'll receive a little message similar to this, and that's when troops will check the order and then text either 1 to confirm that the order count is correct and there are no issues, or if the count is off or there's another issue, they will text a 2 and follow up with the delivery site manager and or their service unit cookie manager as soon as possible. Once you've confirmed your order, the delivery site manager receives a message showing that the order is confirmed. A few other things to mention before we move on to the next section. A couple of what-ifs. What if your group is late for cookie pickup time? Simply find and speak with the delivery site manager. It's up to them to decide when and if you can still pick up your initial order from the delivery site that day. Having said that, do keep in mind that the majority of our delivery sites are closing between 12 and 1 this year. In years past, some of those sites have stayed open for as late as 3 or 4 in the afternoon, but with the initial order pickups being more streamlined this year, they will be closing earlier. Talk with your pickup group about what time you need to arrive and stress the importance of arriving on time to pick up your initial order. What if you don't have enough vehicles to pick up all of your cookies? You'll have to pick up your initial order then from the warehouse. And that's why it's important to take a look at that diagram with all the pictures of the different types of cars and trucks on it and figure out how many vehicles you're really going to need, and then add 1 or 2 just in case. If you're unable to pick up your initial order on delivery day, it will be returned to the warehouse and it won't be available for pickup until at least 72 hours later. The troop will also be charged a $25 transportation and storage fee. If you are unable to pick up your initial order on delivery day, please contact your service unit cookie manager for assistance. Next up, a brief look at cookie distribution and inventory management. When you get back to base following your initial order cookie pickup, take the cookies out of the vehicles immediately. Many of our chocolate cookie varieties can melt quickly. If you didn't recount the number of cases of cookies while you were on the delivery site, go ahead and do one now. Double count the cookies to make sure that all cases that were part of your initial order are in the vehicles. To get ready to distribute cookies to girls and their families, fill in the due dates and your contact information on the girl order cards and money envelopes. Also, make sure that every package of cookies that leaves your possession is signed for on a receipt. We'll touch on that in a moment. And just a note, any damaged packages that you discover, because sometimes you don't notice them until after you open up a case of cookies, can be exchanged at any cupboard once those cupboards open. A few tips for new TCMs. TCMs and troop leaders should agree on a plan of how cookies will be distributed to girls and their caregivers. Financial responsibility for cookie inventory should be communicated to families. If you haven't had those conversations yet with girls and their families, now is the time to do so as you're distributing cookies. Another best practice is to collect a signed cookie permission slip from caregivers before you give cookie inventory to girls and their families. There is a paper copy of the permission slip in the family guide, but new this year is an electronic permission slip, and you can find the link to that form on the Cookie Resources page of our website, but I will also include it in the description box for this video. Along with making sure that you have a permission form from a parent or caregiver of all girls in your troop participating in the cookie program, experienced TCMs and leaders strongly encourage that you do not check out additional cookies to a caregiver until funds have been turned in for their previous checkout of cookies. Have a conversation with parents and girls about when you expect money to be turned in. It should be on a fairly regular basis. and what the troop process will be in terms of managing inventory so that expectations are clear on both sides. Be sure to plan with your other troop volunteers following best practices that you've likely already established at this point, the safest way for girls and families to pick up their cookie inventory following your initial order pickup. Also let families know that anyone storing cookies must store them in a temperature-controlled and smoke-free environment. Back to receipts momentarily. Each troop was provided cookie receipt books to be used to track cookie and money transactions within the troop. They are carbon copied so that both the TCM and the caregivers can keep a copy. This paper trail is very important and is for the protection of everyone involved. The signed receipt transfers the financial responsibility from one person to the other, and it's best for both parties to keep the receipts for reference. So get into the habit of writing out a receipt for every package of cookies that's checked out and for all money transactions. On every receipt, include the cookie variety, how many packages of each, the troop number, date, and the signature of the adult accepting the cookies or money, as well as the person giving the cookies or money. Both parties should count the cookies and money together. The troops should keep the white copy of the receipt and give the yellow copy to the caregiver. Keep copies of all receipts, including the initial order, starting inventory order, covered orders, and troop transactions. And one last bit of advice, update eBuddy frequently. Here's an example of a receipt. You'll notice that the type of receipt is circled here, troop number is in, service unit number is here, date, exact quantity of all cookie varieties, and then the money owed for that inventory. So the parent or caregiver would want to sign here, put the girl's name here, and then as the TCM giving this inventory to a parent, you would sign here. Okay, once you're in the phase of distributing cookies, after your initial order to the girls in your troop, you also want to allocate those cookies to girls in eBuddy. We'll go through the steps on how to do so in the next couple of slides, but also look for a quick little video that'll walk you through this process to post to the Girl Scouts of Colorado YouTube channel and also the Facebook page. That video will be posted on Cookie Kickoff Day, Sunday, January 31st. All right, first two steps to allocating cookies in eBuddy is to go to the Girl Order tab in eBuddy and click on the girl's name. Once you're under the girl's name, you want to click on Add Transaction, and you're going to see little green boxes appear at the bottom of the page. You're going to record the total number of packages for each variety. You can see it lines up with different varieties of cookies. So you'll record the total number of each variety in these little green boxes. You also want to add a comment like distributing cookies and then the date in this box here. So as the weeks go by through the cookie program, you understand what each transaction is. Once you've entered all the information, you're going to click the OK button or just hit enter, click save to save the transaction, and then repeat these steps as needed for each girl that you're distributing cookies to in your troop. When you want to add a girl payment, the steps are similar. You're going to go under the Girl Order tab, go under the girl's name, but instead of clicking Add Transaction, you're going to click Add Payment. You'll see green boxes appear again. So you want to write in payment for X inventory and then the date in this box and the amount of the payment. You're going to click the OK button or just hit enter, click save to save the transaction, and then just repeat that process for each girl as needed. If you have questions about cookie distribution or inventory management, parents or caregivers should contact their troop cookie managers, or TCMs, and troop cookie managers should contact your service unit cookie manager, or SUCM. Remember, links to all forms mentioned in this video are in the description box. Thank you all for watching, and I hope all goes well for you on Cookie Delivery Day.